So to make fresh cheese or cottage cheese, you heat up some milk. I used full fat milk. Full fat or semi-skimmed is good. Don't use skimmed milk. It's just going to get really, really hard, so it doesn't particularly work. So say full fat milk, probably a whole 4 pints, all in there, and you heat it up to just between 35 degrees. So if you feel with your clean hands, fingers, if it's quite hot after a few seconds, that will do. If it's almost boiling point, it's very hot, but it will still work. We try not to boil it, and we try not to have it too cold. If it's too cold, it's not gonna curdle. If it's too hot, apparently it might not make as good a cheese, but frankly, if it boils, it still works. So, just heating up the milk, then we will add a few tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. When I say tablespoons, I usually start by a good gulp, and we try to use as little vinegar as possible. And you can see it will curdle when you put in the vinegar, and you give it a stir. So we can stir 3 and then 5 the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good to practice numbers, otherwise a figure of 8. And basically we do that for, say, 30 seconds. Just want to mix everything together to see if there's enough vinegar to curdle the milk straight away. No, still wait, so we need more vinegar. What I can do is add a bit more vinegar and leave it for a couple of hours to cool down. Or I really go for the very, very quick solution and I add a bit of vinegar at a time. Again, stirring. And we'll do that until, and you might already see how it begins to curdle? So we want these curds to separate completely from the liquid. If the liquid is still white, it's not done yet. You want a liquid that's pretty clear and almost transparent and yellowy, if you like. So now we can see the curds. Let's have a little look. Now that we can see curds, I would actually leave it like that if I wanted to do the long version, or add a little bit of vinegar, tiny amounts, to just reach that perfect minimum acidity point, so that all of the milk is curdled and the whey is then very, very yellow. Can you see now how the whey begins to be clearer? You can see the curds coming together. And the whey is almost not white anymore. So that's not too bad. We could use it like that. I will just keep stirring for a few more seconds. Maybe we count to 30, maybe we do a minute. And it actually really, really works better when you keep stirring. That's it. The white curds are now separated from the clear whey. So what I'll do is I leave it for a few seconds, or maybe for a few minutes, to just cool down a bit, and I'll pour it through a sieve. Here you go. I sieved everything, all the curds, through my just fine sieve, and I'm going to move the curds about to make sure all of the whey is gone. Normally I wouldn't waste the whey. That's pretty wasteful. We would collect it. You could feed it to your pigs if you had a farm. They really, really like it. Or you could use it. You could drink it. You could make it into, quite a very refreshing drink. So leave it to cool down completely. Add a little bit of honey, for example, and your whey suddenly is a very nice drink. So here we go. We have our little cheese curds. So again, you might see there's a bit of smoke of steam coming off, so that's a little bit too hot for me to handle. I will just keep moving them about and try to make them into a shape, potentially. I can squeeze them a little bit, they will come all together, but what I will need to do is to salt them. To make a really nice cheese, you need quite a bit of salt, actually. Salt and anything else. It can be salt and black pepper, salt and chives, parsley, any herbs that you like, or just plain salt. I quite like it. So for the moment, I might even do that. There you go. So when they will have cooled down, I'll take the curds, squeeze them a bit with the back of my spoon to make sure they're pretty dry, but I don't want them too dry, otherwise it's not a nice spreadable cheese. So I'll just leave them to cool down, put them in a dish, add some salt, and when I say some salt, and then mix them all together. Once it's all very well mixed, leave it to rest, or taste it straight away. If it's salted enough, well, that's fine. If it's not enough, add a bit of salt. If it's too much, always remember you can't remove the salt. So make sure you don't salt too much, but you will be surprised by the amount of salt you need to make it really tasty or how you like. And that's it. That's how you make cheese.